So,
Uh,
Dax Felix, before I brief you on the job, is there anything you'd like to say?
I love your cloak. You'll have to give me the name of your tailor. It's so pretty.
You know what? If this meeting goes well, you can have my cloak. I'm not particularly attached to it.
Sweet.
I have a question. Chucklenuts over here decided to tell us there's gold involved. How much are we getting paid for this?
Oh, my house is quite wealthy, and there's much gold involved. The price is negotiable, but we also will be paying you in some fairly specialized and rare items. Perhaps you'd like to listen to my spiel before we really discuss any more of the specifics.
you
Wait
look
a
of the
second.
man from Bavaria, but what house do you truly serve?
I serve the House Felis. We're a minor house. We haven't done much of import, but today I am quite trusted by the king. He kind of looks around nervously when he says this. His eyes flit a little bit. You can tell he's not particularly used to lying. But he just rolled a
Uh,
lie on his. He just rolled a 1 on his deception check, so he sucks at it. I'm rolling dice in the background here for these guys whenever they tell lies and such.
all right, I want to do intimidation on him.
All right, roll that
Guys,
intimidation.
he has. Oh, okay.
All right, 13. Let me just roll for him right quick. No, he is not intimidated. In fact, he's unnaturally not intimidated. If this man is who he says he is, he probably would have backed down for that, but no.
Would I guess perceiving that he's making the lie or recognizing what would that be listed under? Like, would that be intimidation, perception?
You noticed right away his deception check was ass. Like I rolled for him in the background here and it was a 1. Whenever I
So
give
do
you
we
little
all
tells
notice
like
that?
yeah, you all notice like whenever I give you little tells like that, his eyes are darting around or he's fidgeting and stuff. That's definitely him lying. But I won't be telling you that past session 0.
Lord Boss, I couldn't help but notice your dagger. I mean, it seems like you're a little nervous, but could you tell us a little bit about it? From what I understand,
Sorry, we can't hear you, Bree. You cut out.
and damn it, hold on. Sorry, just a second. Can you hear me now?
Is Bree the one who knows about the dagger,
Okay.
or was that?
Yeah,
Becky?
she
Yeah, I'm
rolled
the only
that.
one that.
She rolled the
No.
20. She like critted the hell out of her history check.
Okay, cool.
So,
No.
Lord Boss, I mean, it seems like you're a little nervous right now. But could you tell us a little bit about your dagger? I think everybody really needs to know what that means.
Pause. As Breon is talking to Dax Felis, is there a place where you could write these guys' names down?
I'll make their character sheets and such available after this session. Just call him Dax for now. It's fine.
All right, cool. I meander around the exterior of the room, perusing anything and everything that I can read without really causing a ruckus.
Okay. Dax Felis notices you wandering around, and as he turns his head to watch you do your thing, he also notices Cody behind him, like ready to punch him in the butt, and he's like, "Oh Jesus!" and he kind of like jumps a little bit. Apparently, he didn't notice Cody going behind him. I guess because Cody's shorter than the table or something. I don't know.
Well, my character is 6 feet, so it's kind of hard to miss me. I'm 6 foot tall.
Okay, so he kind of shakily starts here. He's like, very well. If you have any questions, please feel free to interject while I talk to you about this. He's just avoiding Bree's question.
Is he still have his attention on Sam and Cody?
He's got his attention in front of him right now towards the front of the tent.
Okay.
Boss, don't mind my short friend. Just tell me. Tell me what you think. What is up with your dagger? I think everybody in the room needs to know.
It is a gift from my father that means very much to me, Now, could we please get on with the subject at hand?
This is the subject at hand. I would like to know your history. If I to work for someone, I must know them.
Indeed. Listen, I have this whole thing planned out. If you could just listen to me, I'll tell you everything you need to know. And if you have any questions, just ask me at the end, will you?
No. While I'm loath to admit this, I agree with the giant. You must tell us your history.
Very well. I come from a minor house in Bavaria. All right. We haven't done a whole lot to really have people recognize our name, except for things such as this. You may have noticed that our camp is not really on the beaten path, and we are not displaying any tabards or any signs that we are part of the regular kingdom's army. This is because we are on a mission in secret for our king. Now, anything that I may have accomplished in my life or anything my family did probably is not in the public eye, because even though we are not glorified in battle like other noble houses, we keep things on the down low.
You can see why it's a little hard to trust you.
Indeed. But trust isn't particularly necessary in this arrangement that I'm proposing to you. You may not trust me, you may not really want to listen to me, but I assure you it is worth your while. As I said, this job will be remunerative.
But define
Remunerative. That's he's going to pay your ass.
Question: does Dax or Home Dude do they know who we are?
Yes. As a matter of fact, they do. I mean, you can ask him.
Well, like I was gonna test how much like deception I could put off. Like how I mean, obviously they kidnapped us to bring us here, so I assumed they would know something about us. I just needed to know how much they knew of us, so that I could try to work a deception.
Okay. Let's see. Ask him. Roll a deception check to try to kind of hide your intentions. That's a high deception. All right. So go ahead and ask him.
Mm, I don't know that I had anything specifically ready at that moment in time.
Okay. So go with me. How would you do it? Like, how would you ask somebody, "Hey, what do you know about me?"
Oh, I was gonna pull like a like I was gonna try to deceive him into thinking that I was a more important person that he doesn't know of, to try to get I don't know, some information that I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's fine, man. Just okay. Whenever you want to do something, just think about how you would do it, and we'll figure it out together with the rules and stuff. All right.
All right, cool. Continue.
All right. Now, several months ago, the port city of Ossotia suffered an outbreak of the undead that has consumed most of the citizens and threatens to end all life on the island any day now. As far as we can tell from eyewitness accounts of those that fled the city in the early days of the outbreak, the crisis began in the halls of the city's government, and it grew from there. We have no idea whether the inciting incident intentionally targeted Ossotia's leaders, or if this was rotten luck. In fact, we know next to nothing of why the dead are suddenly refusing to lie still. They are shambling husks that seem to be attracted to the living for the purposes of sustenance or to convert them. Once the creatures draw your blood, it's only a matter of time before you are one of them. The process of conversion is rather disconcerting from the accounts I've read. Then, there's the matter of the eternal night in and around the city. You'll notice when you get close. To assume that perpetual darkness and wandering dead are unrelated stretches credulity. We've consulted the priests and clerics of every god from the All-Father to the goddess of petty grievances. Her name's Karen, by the way, and her clerics are exactly how you imagine them. Now, Mandor pipes up from the back of the tent. Now, I know you war priests have your own gods and everything, but we've consulted your temples as well. They don't know what to make of it. The consensus was that this whole thing is just wrong. Like gelatinous cube sex club wrong. We have high confidence the plague ain't divine or infernal. It's something else. And Dax Vialis pipes up again. Mandor, let's not speculate as to the nature of this crisis. No one has said plague. You introduce prejudice into a situation that requires unbiased scrutiny.
I would have him speak more about his insight. I trust a man of battle more than I do you, noble.
Well, it sure as hell spreads like the plague, and I'm not in the business of calling things what they're not. Whatever this affliction is, he's looking at Lord Fialis with like a no shit look. It spreads through the blood. This is more speculation, you understand, so take this with some measure of skepticism. What we do know, we learned from those poor people in Shrewt. It was a little town up the coast that became a secondary outbreak spot. It's contained now.
Is that why you assholes took our blood?
Nope, that was unrelated.
Do
Like
something?
like I said, that was a insurance policy. It's just a bit of a tracking spell that we're gonna burn as soon as we're done talking here. Listen, Shroot was purged. Once the powers that be learned these poor undead bastards just had to scratch you and that's it, well, they purged the hell out of Shroot. They're still purging anyone that they find leaving the island. He blinks slowly and turns, suddenly very interested in the map on the table. He leans over it and stares intently. Which brings us back to your mission.
So you assholes brought us here, and
Indeed,
we're stuck.
you are you are heroes of some repute where you come from. I know you're not from this country, but you saved that town not too long back, and you came together through strange circumstances, and we thought that you were the perfect people for this. The kingdom is not playing games with this crisis. If you choose to go and manage to escape the city with your objective, you must not be discovered by the king's regular army. They are under the strictest of orders to purge any escapees. No exceptions, no questions.
If this mission is so important to you, then why do you not do it yourself? Why bring in random people?
This is where it gets complicated. The niece, Brynna Tuller, is probably bound for the throne one day, but you probably already knew that. And this woman is well loved by the common people. There are those
Lark
that...
is oh sorry.
It's fine.
Lark is getting bored, so she just kind of plays around, and actually she's thinking about casting Mage Hand and like using it or Prestidigitation, either one to squeeze the original guy's butt. You know, she's like really bored.
Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
Yeah,
All
Prestidigitation.
right, I will go on. You can do prestidigitation if you want to.
Okay.
There are those that wish
I mean,
for her to
I'm
perish
really
here.
listening.
No, it's fine. I know. Just click your
Yeah.
thing, and I will roleplay it. All right. There are
All
those
right, all
that
right.
wish for her to perish here, and those, like the king, who wish to see her safely. Oh my goodness! Please. That is my buttock.
Is he saying that? Wait, so prestidigitation is where you like reach out like with a phantom hand, right?
Well, I
That's
mean,
Mage
Mage
Hand.
Hand is a phantom
But
hand. But
prestidigitation.
Prestidigitation.
Go ahead, Bree.
Oh well, it's just a sensory effect, a harmless sensory effect. So, I mean, you don't see the hand grab it, but it feels like the hands grab. Feels like someone's grabbing his ass.
So currently,
It could be Cody.
Lark is across the room. Yes, that's what I was going to
Yeah.
ask. Was
Yeah.
does Dax think it was Cody that might have brushed?
It could have been.
Yeah, like
Don't look at me, sweetums.
he looks back at Cody, maybe sort of believes him, and then looks back at the lady with the sparkly hands that just cast prestidigitation.
I'm like playing with the sparkles, kind of like doing a little bit of a Luna Lovegood situation here.
So he looks back behind you at the entrance of the tent. Like he looks like he's kind of hoping there's like another party they kidnapped that's coming in that's actually qualified for this. And he
Okay,
sighs.
as you were.
There are those that wish for her to perish here, and those, like the king, who wish to see her safely away. No one can be trusted in the normal circles. The normal channels are all compromised. Every interested party has chosen a side, and it is impossible to tell who is paying who. Any of our usual agents could be compromised. That's where you come in, the unknown adventurers from another land. Ah, the king's
Kidnapped.
roll of the dice. All right,
Again, you did not answer why you chose us. Even if you did hear about our accomplishments, it does not matter.
We're expendable.
So he just rolled a shittier deception roll again. So he's shifting uncomfortably after he says the king's out of court activities. So he pauses for a long moment, moving his eyes down and around the lines of the map, following no discernible contour or pattern you can make out. When he finally blinks and deigns to move his hand, he drops a die onto the table, and it comes up 5. This is your token if you choose to accept it. A loaded die. You are, at once, something observers see as a manifestation of fickle probability, but you are also something that can be counted on by those in the know. I really want to count on you.
It's pretty.
Do you truly work for the king, or are you more into this on your own? Something doesn't seem right about you.
This
Um,
is. Oh, okay, go ahead. What's up?
I was gonna say I'm fine either way as long as I get paid.
This is an extrajudicial activity, you might say. Now, the king is not playing games with this crisis. His nobles and he have agreed on a course of action that is to purge everyone that gets off the island. But it is also unacceptable to him that everyone has to die, including his niece. So he sends me.
So that's the real rub.
His
His
word is
his
at once
niece and everyone
law.
else can.
Correct. His word is law, but at the same time, his public word is the opposite of what this is. It makes things awkward, and that's why he sends me. Can I count on you? Now, before you guys can actually say anything, a scout bursts into the tent, out of breath. He looks as he's just run a long way. My lord, boats! A flotilla of boats was spotted drifting up the current. They could land north of here. Now, Dax pauses before replying, and his posture has changed so much that it's like a different person. We can't risk it. Take Killian's men and Grin, and 2 full squads. Be there when the boats land. Look for her. All semblance of diminutiveness is gone. I must leave now. Our timetable has just been moved up. My man, Mandor, will conclude this briefing. Mandor, I'm looking at you. Be civil and answer their questions. He turns his back to you and starts walking out. Whatever your decision, I wish you all well. And I mean that. Good health to you. And he leaves.
So he doesn't give her the cloak.
Yeah, he took off with it. He's like, fuck that. Now, that's right. My liege, against my objections, insist that you have a choice in this. The only thing you don't have a choice in is listening to me. So he hands you guys a scroll, and that was the map I gave you guys before. I guess this is a different way to get it. Here's a map of the terrain. It's rough, but it's from a local, and it gets the point across. And that particular local was particularly handsome and crafty and able to hit people across the head with their sword if they don't listen to him while he's giving his fucking briefing.
So, Chucklenuts, how are we gonna get on the island?
By boat. We have a boat ready for you on the beach right now. It's got a shallow draft and it's enchanted. It's going to get you there, no problem. In fact, all your stuff is there right now, as well as some, well, what do you guys know about firearms?
Sounds like fun.
My father used to make them.
What's that?
I've seen the battlefields many times.
Dwarven masters. Only the dwarven masters are capable of making such things.
Sorry, everything's echoing. I can't hear anybody.
So repeat, Jim.
I said I've seen dwarven masters who made them.
Indeed. These are, in fact, dwarven firearms. We have acquired them for this particular mission, and they're yours if you choose to accept. Now, the city, if you look at the map, is built on an old dungeon or something like a lot like one. So there's probably countless ways to get in and around depending on how brave or suicidal you are. If you take a look, there's a few ways in that are just obvious. There's the mud pier, which is the part of the island where the boats come in from the riverside. It's got a shit ton of silt, and the water's shallow, and your shallow draft of your boat's going to be good there. But I'm not quite sure what's going on over there. There's the wharfs and the waterworks. Just let me know if you got any questions.
Is it Trader asked Mandor, has anybody scouted the island recently?
Well, with the army purging anybody that comes back on shore from even the remote direction of the island, there's not been a lot of scouting. The scrying spells don't work for shit.
So how do we not get purged?
Well, that's where I come in. When you get off the island with your objective, you meet me on the shore exactly here, and we can keep you safe. We'll get you out of here really fast, give you your gold, and we can both be on our way.
That exactly here? What's here?
Here at the camp. Once you get out of this tent, you're going to have pretty free reign of the camp. So I wouldn't worry about knowing where here is. You'll see it. You can even see the city from here if you look hard enough.
Is there any
So
kind of
you
block?
guys are just. Oh.
All right, let's go with Bree first. What's up?
So you guys just gonna be sitting here with your thumbs up your butts waiting for us, or what?
Indeed. Listen, my guys are good. I mean, they're veteran soldiers. They've been part of quite a few campaigns, including putting down a particular giant rebellion that I remember. Anyway, my guys are good, but they're not hero good. You guys, from what I hear about you, you got the makings of some real famous people. Lucky for me, I caught you early after your first real success, and I'm really hoping you can do this for us. You're going to get a good woman out of the city. Listen, if you find her, there's going to be a thing. When she was 9, Brenna called off her diplomatic marriage to a princeling in Scarlet just because he whipped a hungry dog. By 12, she convinced her father to let her run shelters for the widowed and orphaned and our military families. Now she's the people's loudest voice at her uncle's court. Brenna is probably the best of any of us, including you. If she still lives, she is trying to save the city and its people. Unfortunately, Ossotia's dead, though she won't see it that way. She'll want to evacuate the living or put the dead to rest. If it comes down to it, save the girl, not the city, and bring her here by force if necessary. Do not go to the regular army. They'll purge the shit out of you.
Can we have a couple of guys for guides?
Listen, the only guide you can find around here is me, and I'm here to make sure my lord stays safe. I can't go with you. I'm old and I probably can't outrun anything anymore, but I can swing the sword like a mother.
Is there any cave entrances we can sneak in?
Like I said, the place is like a honeycomb with dungeon entrances. The way this whole thing started, the city itself was built on top of an old dungeon that was the home of a lich. The people that came there at first, they purged the lich, got rid of him, but his dungeon is still there. Slowly, over many years, it collected silt and dirt and rocks or whatever the hell else the river threw at it. And now you have the island that you see today. We built on top of it and made a hell of a city out of it too. A lot of trade. It's got access to the ocean and to river traffic. The place is it's home for me. There's probably a ton of entrances, but depending on how suicidal you are, if you want to go down that dungeon, you might have to put on your diving helmet.
So this was your home. What was the name of the tavern or the barkeep at the tavern?
Which tavern? It's a city, woman.
Your favorite one.
Oh, my favorite tavern? Shit, I'm not even sure if it's there anymore. It's been a while, but it was the Speared Boar. And his name was, oh God, what was it? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just remember that they had beer that wasn't watered down. That was good enough for me.
Well, I'll tell him you said hi.
I
What's the
hope to
deal
cut.
with fortress?
What's the deal with what?
Deal with your fortress. Why didn't it not hold?
Well, as Dax said, it was attacked from the inside. Like we said, we're not sure if it was luck or somebody directing the undead, but they popped up right where our leadership was. And from there, it was like a cancer. It spread throughout the city. Now the dead are everywhere. At least that's what the eyewitnesses say.
On your map, I don't see where your city council or leaders would hold.
Here, let me look at the map right quick. All right, if you look at it, you're going to see right next to the tower, there is a bone fortress. That's where we kept most of the city government. That's where the place started.
What is the grove?
The grove is the graveyard that's inside the city. We have a bunch of druids that take care of it. They inter our dead and make sure that plants churn them up and eat them in a way that we can keep on burying people there without having to worry about things like bodies stacking up and becoming a plague situation.
This cove inlet there to the east of the bone fortress. Is that a beachhead that is survivable, or is that more of a suicidal run, would you say?
Technically, that is a beach, but if you see there's a sandbar right next to the east there. The current that goes through is extremely fast. And once you get on the beach, there's a sheer cliff face that goes up about 100 feet. If you got climbing gear, you might be able to get up there. But if not all of you can make it, you might fall to your death.
Question about your map, John. The road, is that roads coming off the Bone Fortress and the Forge and all that, or is that like
Yeah.
waterways? Yeah.
The big roads are like the two lines that look like a road, and then the singular lines are just side streets and stuff.
The big roads look like a road. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
excuse me for not being a fucking artist.
What's
Well, that's what you said. I just thought it was funny.
what's this guy's name?
His name is Mandor.
Mandor.
Mandude.
So, my man, Mandor, when do you need our answers by?
I'll give you till the morning. You can go ahead and think on it. Just before you go and get your stuff from the boat, I'd like you to give me a formal answer. Whether you refuse or you say yes, I'm going to keep your stuff until you say yes or no to the job. You say no, sure, I'll give you your stuff back, sans the firearms, and send you on your way. But if you say yes, you'll have full access to everything. Get to the boat, get to the island.
You mentioned that the boat was enchanted. What is it enchanted with?
Directions. The boat knows the way to the island, and it'll take you there. It's at the front of the boat. It'll steer it wherever it needs to go if you want to get to the island. Once it gets close enough, you're on your own.
Can we use the boat to get around the island?
Yes, indeed. You can use the boat for as much as you want. Now, be careful with that thing. Like I said, it's got a shallow draft and it's light, but that also means it's not super tough.
Is that the same boat that's supposed to bring us back?
Yes. If that boat goes down, though, you can either find somebody to fix it, or you can find your own transport out of there. I get the feeling that not all the boats have been used just yet. The place is a port city. There's got to be something there you can use if your boat goes down.
Where is the package we got to pick up? I forgot the princess's name.
Brenna. That's okay. Brenna, I have no idea where she is. The place is a real apocalypse situation in there. But if I had my guess, she's going to be behind the scenes leading people and making sure they're organized and helping widows and orphans and kittens and all that bullshit.
Where
What
was
does
she
she
last?
even look like? How are we gonna know it's her and not some imposter?
She's got black hair like her father and her uncle. She's a little bit tall, a little let's see, about a head taller than me, and she's she's a looker, but you'll probably know her by her speech and her position. She talks like a fancy pants noble, and I bet she's got a leadership position somewhere in there if she's still alive.
So I'm looking for some broad that looks like a bunch of people I've never met. Got it.
Listen,
Does everybody in there know her? That's alive. I mean, or dead. Whatever.
I wouldn't know, but Brenna has a way of standing out. And if you ask her who she is, she's not going to lie to you. She's just not that kind of girl. I've known her since she was young.
But so the folks that are alive in the town don't know her?
Whenever the plague started happening, I think Brenna had just arrived on the island, but I could be wrong about that.
Does she
So
carry any kind of fairly heirloom or anything to identifying mark?
she does have the ring of the royal family on her, but who knows what she's done with that.
Since you've known her for so long, is there some kind of word we can tell her that she might know?
Just tell her that Dax Felis sent you, or mention my name, Mandor. She'll know.
Say, Mandor, you said this place was your home. So that means that you know just about everyone there. Are there any people that you think are still left alive that we could look to for help if we got there?
Well, the thing is, that city is a city of about 250,000 people, so I don't know everybody. But if I were to look for people in there that are useful, well, there's the Bone Fortress. If the military was able to retake that, they'd be there. Or if you're looking for these the magicy types, the tower up there next to the Bone Fortress, they got a whole campus of learning up there that has all sorts of spells and wizards and all that stuff I don't understand. At least they're smart fellers. They might have a bit of an inside line on what's happening on the island. The druids, I don't know about those guys. They were always a little weird. I never trust anybody that'll handle corpses voluntarily.
Hey, just a question. What is between the rest and the waterworks?
That's the pits. Sorry.
Pits. No. Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. And the is that a chap Clapton?
Clapton.
I think it's Forge.
Next to the forge. Is that Eric Clapton?
Yes, it's Eric Clapton. That's Claptra, the prison.
Ah, cool.
Wow, that's a little close.
You can tell I had to squeeze that text in there.
No, I mean to Sam's name.
Oh,
So you said this place is built on top of a old dungeon. Are y'all sure y'all actually cleared out the lich's phylacteries?
oh yes. Every account of history we've ever learned on that island is that the original adventuring party came to that island and they killed the lich that was there, stole his phylactery, smashed it up somewhere else, and then called the church in for good measure to burn everything away. That dungeon was clean. There were no monsters, nothing left in there. But it's got some unique properties that helped us build a city on top of it, such as catching all that silt. It also keeps the sea level below what you normally think it would whenever you're underground. The water table is way the hell down there instead of what it should be. And that's why we got things like the pits and the waterworks. We got trash and water going all the way down to the dungeon instead of having to deal with it on the island.
So you guys mentioned that you talked to all the gods. Are we gonna have to deal with some crazy cultists or anything
Not
in
that I would
there?
not that I would know, young lady. That made things awkward earlier. But we did consult all the
Sexy.
churches we could think of, and nobody had any idea what the fuck was going on that island.
So probably.
Can you tell me anything about the Seaside Wharf?
The Seaside Wharf is our deep water port. It's not shallow like the mud pier. And if you take a spill in your armor off of your boat while you're there, you're probably going to go down a few 100 feet before you hit the bottom and die. But it is probably the most intact part of the city right now as far as entrances go. The wharf is still there because it's a tough son of a bitch. It has to handle a lot of heavy ship traffic.
What's the tower?
The tower is our mage school. It's a college that developed itself on the island. A lot of wizardly types there. I don't trust them, but they're pretty smart fellows.
Do you have any contacts in the army that we might reach out to if they're still alive?
Oh hell, it's been forever since I've been back home. I don't know if you know this, but Ossotia is kind of its own city-state inside the Kingdom of Bavaria. They don't have to follow what the king says, but it behooves them to do so, lest our relationship gets weird. But if you look for anybody, you look for a colonel named Pod. He's a nice guy. He might hook you up if he's still alive.
What can you tell me about the entrance near the waterworks?
Oh, the waterworks, that's kind of a place where the wall has collapsed. The waterworks is where a bunch of water comes in from the sea, spills down into the dungeon, and turns an enormous bunch of water wheels and gears and such. The moving water has eroded things over time and the wall collapsed. So there's a beach there, but I have no idea whether or not it's passable. It's a little narrow choke point. If the dead are there, you're going to have to move on.
So, what it sounds like, we need to go to the island, look around it, find the best entry point without dying, find the princess inside of a big old fucking city, and get out before we get killed.
That is the long and short of it. I'm glad you understand. Does that mean you accept this job?
Sure, why not?
Sounds fun. There's only one castle, right? We're not gonna have to deal with the princesses in another castle situation.
Well, if she's in the castle, she won't leave by choice, but no. Once you find her, that's it. Get her out of there.
The regular army have any plans to come in and purge the whole island?
Right now, they're playing a wait and see. They're hoping the survivors do something to take care of the dead on there, but they don't want to risk anybody else. What with the war in the south and such, they don't have a whole lot of men to spare to go assaulting an island full of zombies that can make you one of them by just scratching you. As it is, they see the problem as contained. In fact, the less boats that come off the island, the better for them.
Does the regular army have any blockades, or are they just stationed on the beaches around the island?
Right now, they got spotters on the beaches on both sides of the river. The river's wide, so they don't catch everything. That's how Shroot came to be. But it is a good bet that they will see you if you try to leave by sail. But the thing is, if you get here before they know where you are, and we can get you gone, you're gonna have a good time.
Cody, what's your character's name?
Yeah.
Dunnan.
I asked Dunnan in Dwarvish if he wants to go get a drink and let the thinkers think.
Yeah, I just got one last thing to say. Next time you want something from me, ask. You're not gonna have such an easy time kidnapping me a second fucking time.
You know, I respect that. I like that about you, dwarf. You look like you'd punch somebody if they did that again. You learn from your mistakes. You're willing to throw down if you have to.
Don't fuck. I'll see you all.
Okay, so you guys all leaving the tent, or are some of you gonna stay in there?
Treader perks up at the mention of ale and decides to follow David and Cody's characters, agreeing to join the hunt as well.
Cool beans.
I pat all the dwarfs' heads as they leave, and then I leave last and blow Mandu to kiss again.
He looks extremely uncomfortable, but he takes it
Takes it like a champ.
like a
So-
Mandor.
So currently, who has accepted?
Well, I thought they spoke for all of you, but you can all accept individually if you want to.
Huh?
I accepted.
In Dax's discussion and everything with everyone, was there a monetary amount and or compensation properly talked out or thought out, or was it basically just a promise of riches?
It's a promise of riches. Nobody hashed out anything specific, but let's just say he mentions to you that you've got like in the quintuple digits of gold.
Okay. And if your character I mean, everybody is already chosen, but if the character decided not to go, what would happen to them then?
I can't tell you that, but I mean, if you decide not to, that's fine. We can play it like that.
I'm just wondering.
Oh, I wrote that part, so don't worry about it. Okay, so you all leaving the tent?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So Eki,
No,
no?
not leaving yet.
Okay. What's up?
I want to know more about this battle that you fought off the giants. And I need to know more about these sheer cliffs sides of this island that you're sending me to this death trap.
Well, first of all, the giants started that war, but I finished it. I was in a battle not too long ago where there was a tribe of giants. Now, you might say that a tribe, that's not a huge deal, right? They don't have any armies or anything like that, but you haven't met any fucking giants, have you? Anyway, they were a force to be reckoned with. They mowed through all of our people. And I did what I had to do, made a name for myself. Gave as good as I got. And about that cliff, like I said, it's 100 feet straight up. It's going to be rough climbing for some of your people. I see you got some of those spellcasters and spindly folks around here. They might have a hard time, but if you can get up there, maybe you can pull them up with a winch or something.
Is it a sheer cliff the entire way around the island, or is it only at the sides?
There's cliffs for most of it, but you might say on the southern side of the island, that's where all the silt has been collecting for years and years and years. So it's a gradual beach. But on the northern side of the island, where the deep water is, that's all cliff.
How high up past the landslide does the cliff extend? Are we talking natural walls and barricading, or
We do have the city does have some walls up above the cliffs. The place has been invaded before by sea-based people, so there's walls all around the island. But there are entrances. Remember, you gotta remember that there's commerce going on here too. So boats and cargo and all sorts of people come in all the time. The place is porous, but they can shut it up anytime they want. That is when people were alive.
you seem like the type who would understand and know about the underground and the unbeaten path? What can you tell me about the markets,
The markets?
the black markets, the underground market?
Oh, the underground market. Well, I wouldn't know a whole lot about that. I usually stay to my own. I've been in the military for so many years, I never had to really use a black market unless it was to get something from my boys. Like I said, I'm a local, but I haven't been back to Ossotia in a long time.
Uh, tent.
All right, you leave the tent. Mandor's following in your wake. He assigns several escorts to you. There's hard-looking men with armor and spears to stay with you and until you get your stuff, and then you decide to leave for the island. Then he leaves you to your own devices while he goes and sees his men.